Welcome back to some new malicious compliance stories, where people comply to the letter, but not the spirit of a request. I hope you had a great day. The first story is called Coming in Sick. I used to work as a rater, and anyone who was or is a rater knows that when you call in ill, they never believe you. They always think you are pulling a sickie. Anyway, one day I'm getting sick throughout the night, so I have to call in sick at 10 AM that morning. 10 AM comes, I'm feeling awful. I call up and my manager answers. He starts calling me a liar, saying I'm screwing him over, questioning me about what I ate. And then when I said I hadn't eaten any chicken, he said I must be lying because why else would I be sick? Anyway, long story short, he threatens to make my job hell if I don't come in. So screw it, I went in. We were hosting a big table event and my manager and I were out front presenting the food to the table. It was a fancy restaurant. I have to leave halfway through as I feel ill, and my manager, when he comes to the back, forced me to see him in the office. I said I needed to stay by the toilet, but he said no. I had to come, so screw it. I went. He sits me down and starts giving me a bollocking. After about a minute, my nausea gets really bad. I lean over and throw up all over him. He looks horrified. I get sent home. The next story is called Spicy Rings. In the time before time, when I was in college, a buddy of mine and I used to go to Rings night every Monday at a local joint. In New York, so the rings were legit. Except extreme level hot was never really that spicy, just a bunch of Tabasco. One day we were really jonesing for hot. We had physically seen the cook in prior visits, a big burly, don't screw with me type of person. I told the waiter to write down our directions to the cook. We said, Table 8 says you cannot make these wings spicy enough for them, because you like small boys and are not enough of a man to make them hot. He first refused to write that down. We slipped him a $10, big money back then, and said, just blame us. A pitcher of bad beer and 1 dozen rings for each came out. They smelled spicy, so we were stoked. Had one bite of one ring. Immediately chucked our 16-ounce beer, cause, oh my god, how did he make them this spicy on our rim? We each ate the remainder of the very first ring, and the pitcher of beer was annihilated. We hadn't noticed, but the cook was sticking his head out the door, watching us. At this point he's crying from laughing so hard. Comes over and says he'll make us a fresh order. Those were the ones sitting at the very bottom of the prep bucket for hours, had been soaking in chili peppers, and they never served them as a rule. We told him that wasn't right. We demanded hyper spicy. He delivered. It was our responsibility to finish them with a smile. We immediately called 2 friends and told them in 2 hours we'd need to be picked up, because we'd be hammered and they had to come drive us and my car home. They were baffled as it was a Monday night, but agreed. Took 2 full hours and 3 pitchers of beer each, but we finished them. We stayed as quiet as we could given how much pain we were in. Thankfully the restaurant was always less than 50% full. The cook came out to give us a high five and asked, I'm betting you won't ask for ultra spicy again, right? No sir, we will not. You have beaten us and we acknowledge your superiority. We left a monster tip and our sober friends drove us home. Best rings ever. The third story is called It's Full. My cousin is a refueler at a mine in Australia. So the crew boily calls him up last night and says, can you put fuel in the crane tonight please? It's low. Yeah mate, I'll catch you later. No dramas. Cousin called him up a few hours later and says, I'm on my way. Where are you? He goes, EX106, a digger. Cousin said, yeah mate, where is that? I'm not sure. He repeats, I'm at EX106. Cousin said, I get that, but where is EX106? I haven't been to it this round, so not sure where I need to come to. Again he states EX106, and cousin replied the same thing, and he doesn't respond. Thankfully a fitter comes on the radio and lets him know where to go. I'm coming past there shortly, see ya soon. So he walks on up, parks the truck, gets up on the crane, opens the fuel tank cap and sees that it's full. It wasn't a drama, it was on his route anyway, and possibly a faulty fuel gauge, no harm done. The boilie wanders over and goes, so are you going to put fuel in it now? This set cousin off a little, so he said, mate, it's full. maybe another service card did it, but it's full now. Instead of just thanking him for coming around and having a chat, what does he do? He kicks up this little dance, shouting, "Do you see tire tracks from another service truck? I've been here all night and it hasn't come. It needs fuel." Cousin said again, "Mate, it's full. It's about 1 centimeter from the top of the tank. It's full. Have a look." He shouts, "No, it's not. The gauge is saying it's almost empty, so put some fuel in it," and does his little dance again. One more time, Cousin said, "The tank is full," but he again demands that he puts more fuel in it. Malicious compliance kicked in, and Cousin went, "Right on, bud, no worries." He climbed off the crane, got around to the truck, backed it up alongside the crane, pulled out the hose, climbed back onto the crane and started pumping. At about 4 liters, it started just spraying a little fuel out. By 6, it starts overflowing, but he kept on pumping until he got to nearly 14 liters. By this time, it had run all over the platform and all down the side of the crane. Cousin turned to him and said, "Are you happy it's full?" He finally admits, "Maybe it's got a faulty fuel gauge." He then goes, "There's fuel all over it now." Cousin looked at him and said, "Not my problem, bud. Go get the water blaster trailer and clean it yourself." Got in the truck and drove off. The last story is called Gaining Perspective. I worked as a systems administrator for an IT firm. I got tired of dealing with abusive and angry clients for 5 years. I got tired of being micromanaged and being exploited. I got tired of being talked down to like I was a child anytime the slightest little mistake was made. When my boss learned I was no longer going to work in another market 3 days a week like I originally planned, and he had no one else, because no one wanted to deal with the jerks in that market, he spent an hour lecturing me on taking a long hard look at myself. He said that he was concerned about my reliability after refusing to spend 3 hours a day commuting to the other market on top of my workday. If I can't rely on you to work in the other market, then I just don't know if you have much of a future with this company. I think you need to take a long hard look at yourself and gain some perspective. You know what? You are absolutely right. 2 weeks later, I found a new job and gave my notice. He begged me to stay, offered me more money, etc. This went on for days. I said, "No thanks, I finally found that perspective you wanted me to find." Boy, am I glad I did. A new job with a raise and benefits and no stress. The only advice you've ever given me of value. Good luck to you. He let me go a week into my notice. I started the new job, loved my new boss and my co-workers. It's been over a year later, and the former boss hired 6 different people to fill my spot. Each lasted 1 to 2 months before they left. I wonder why that is. Maybe he needs to gain some perspective on how to run a company and treat people. Thanks for watching the video to the end. I hope you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe. And if you have time, watch another one of my videos. And now, I hope you have a great day. See you soon. Bye bye.